Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel that takes on all kinds of issues on narcissism, narcissistic abuse, toxic people, and toxic relationships. We're back to our proverb series, and today's proverb is, "He who sups with the devil should have a long spoon." Ever hear that? Well, before we get to that, and also, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and join this magnificent community of followers. But let's take on this proverb. He who sups with the devil should have a long spoon. Now, again, like I said, more and more of the proverbs are being sent in by all of you. And you know how what I love about the proverb series is some of them are on point, some of them are actually bad guidance. This one happens to be on point. This line about long spoons and devils originated from Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. I guess Chaucer knew something about boundaries, because that's really what this is about. The meaning of this proverb is pretty clear. If you're going to fraternize and spend time with bad people, you want to be able to keep your distance and not get too close. So really, it's about boundaries and realistic expectations. It begs the question of whether a person can keep narcissistic people in their lives by just keeping them at a distance. And I would argue that the answer to that question is yes. Now, as an exercise, I want you to take a minute, pause this video, and jot down a list of the narcissistic people in your life. Think about how many of these where you might actually be able to have a mildly functional relationship if you just don't have to rely on them. You can just get what you need and get out, and don't personalize what they say and do. Obviously, a spouse or a partner or a friend may not qualify because you need them. But there are, in fact, other less impactful narcissistic people in your life. We all have them. I did this exercise, and I recognize that there are these kinds of narcissistic folks in my life where I can see what they are and what they are about and need them professionally or for some other reason, or it would disrupt other very important relationships in my life if I blew up the relationships with these narcissists. So I don't ever let them get too close to me. I never share anything with them about myself. I do not share my vulnerabilities with them. I get in, I get out, and it's done. So pause the video and make a note of those folks, and then you can restart and get to the rest of this video. Because that's the long spoon. There are too many narcissistic folks in the world out there for any of us to realistically live a narcissist-free life. Unless you are able to stay locked in your house with a nice pet and have a few friends and don't meet their friends and don't have to work or go to the store ever, then perhaps. But the rest of us are having to sometimes sup with the devil, and we need long spoons. The key is to identify the toxic patterns as early as possible. The earlier you identify them, the better you can start taking out your long spoon. You can keep it tight and then not spin off into something deeper with them. You can pay attention to any trauma-bonded patterns like justification or trying harder to win them over. You keep that long spoon with you at all times, so when you do have to sup with them, you can keep things in a way so they don't do harm through their invalidation and their gaslighting. Now, this comes in most handy in the workplace. The ability to sup with the devil using that long spoon may be the only way that people may survive most narcissistic workplaces. Now, I got to tell you, I have yet to see a narcissist-free workplace in any place with more than a few employees. So it's about figuring out who the players are and how not to get burned, how to remain politic and get your needs met, but not get played. It does mean coming into situations in a rather cynical manner, having to assess people and situations and watch them carefully, and maybe shorten your spoon a little as trust is built, but you can do that cautiously. I find that when supping with the devil, that supping with a long spoon can work. Part of the trick is to avoid any optional conversation or activity, particularly in the workplace. The meeting is done, you don't get sucked into idle chit-chat. You don't fall into the gossip swamp. You don't share secrets on a business trip. You definitely avoid happy hour, and you keep it tight at workplace social events. Forgive my language here, but don't shit where you eat. Now, another place that supping with a long spoon comes in handy is when you meet friends of friends or partners or friends of a partner or friends of a family. You may like the friend or the partner or the family member, but they may bring you into proximity of some toxic people. Again, you always need to keep that long spoon and not fall for the idea like, well, I really love my friend, so their friend must be cool. Nope. In the narcissistic world we live in now, you have to be on your toes for a while until you slowly build trust. It's an exhausting way to live, but such is the world we live in. Because narcissism seems to be creeping into so many areas of our lives, we need tools to find a way to coexist with the toxic people in our midst. It's naive to think you can eliminate all of them. Things like boundaries, taking our time to get to know someone and not doubting our instincts, heeding the red flags, and obviously carrying long spoons. We can't live in a narcissist-free world, but we can find workarounds and ways of protecting ourselves, and always keep a few of those long spoons in your back pocket. Thanks again, and please keep sending in those proverbs. They're great. I love reading them, and as you can see, one after the other, they're turning into some really great content.